What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we are continuing on my DC movie rewatch with 2013's Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's and Zack Snyder's Superman. And watching this movie, back in 2013 as a 14-year-old man, I probably liked this movie. I don't necessarily remember seeing it in theaters, but I probably like this movie more than I did this time around, and I probably haven't sat down and really watched this movie until yesterday. And this movie, it's good, but it's Zack Snyder, right? And you just watch his movies now, and after The Watchmen, I thought he was a pretty good director, but at the end of the day, for this Superman, you're like, oh, this isn't Superman, right? Because I've watched now the other movies. Christopher Reeve is 1,000,000,000% the best Superman we've had so far. Mostly because we get Superman, but we also get Clark Kent. And those are two characters that are completely different, but played by the same person. You know what I mean? Like, Clark Kent's a nerd, and he's fumbling papers, and he's, oh, Lois! And this Henry Cavill's Clark is just super handsome all the time, and cool, and rugged, and he's too cool for red trunks, and like, I don't know. Henry Cavill's pretty great, but you watch this movie back and you're like, oh, this is just what Zack Snyder thinks DC, Superman, and Batman should be. This dark, gritty, murdering, like, can't do anything else, put Superman in an impossible position to snap a neck of another Kryptonian, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what would have been a better movie, but oh wait, I do know what would be a better movie. James Gunn's Superman will be probably far and away way better than Man of Steel. And sure, it might have some dark elements, might have some light humor in it, but at the end of the day, I have faith and trust in James Gunn that he's going to make a great movie and tell a great story, regardless if it's what people think should happen, right? Like a Zack Snyder. This whole movie, he thought this is what it should be, and sure, his fans love it, but I'm sure there's real Superman fans out there that watch this movie and go, "This is the worst adaptation of Superman I've ever seen." Like, it just doesn't feel like Superman at all. It just feels like a Zack Snyder film, which is, to each his own. If I could make movies with my wife and make some dope money and make dope ass movies, I would do it too, and he's making movies for himself, and I don't blame him. But James Gunn makes movies for the people, you know what I mean? Like, he makes them like the Guardians movies. He made us fall in love with a talking tree and a talking raccoon, and made me cry about it. 2 movies in a row. I don't know if I necessarily cried in the first movie. Oh yeah, I kind of did. The last moment with Groot in the first movie, where he's like, "We are Groot," and you're like, "Oh, he finally said something besides 'I am Groot.'" And then by the third movie, right, he also has great character arcs and moments, and how these characters have grown over multiple movies. I'm excited for James Gunn's Superman next year, right? Like, and that's the most positive things I can say about Zack Snyder's Superman, which is terrible. I'm trying to muster up good things to say, but I just really can't. Overall, I gave this movie 2.5 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 10. It's good, it's bad, it's something. I mean, Russell Crowe as Jor-El is pretty great. Michael Shannon's Zod is pretty good. Amy Adams as Lois Lane, I don't really love. But Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, like, Kevin Costner as his dad, like, I don't know, there's parts that are great, but I don't know, like after now doing this whole DC rewatch in a fairly short amount of time, and seeing Christopher Reeve 4 Supermans, and then seeing even the newer Superman Returns with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, right, like, Henry Cavill has to do all of the heavy lifting in this, literally and figuratively, right? Like, and he's Superman, right? So he should, but like, you need supporting actors that like are also main points of the story, right? Like, is Christopher Reeve Superman as good as it is without Gene Hackman Lex Luthor? I don't know. You know, he's a pretty phenomenal Clark, but he's also a phenomenal Kal-El. And, you know, I think maybe the lack of Clark in this, like, we really only get Clark Kent the nerd in The Reporter in, like, the last 1 minute of this movie, you know? So, like, they sure maybe he was setting it up for the next Superman movie, but then doesn't do a Superman 2 and doesn't do a Batman 1, does Batman v Superman, which nobody asked for, and then makes an even darker Batman and an even darker Superman. And you're like, all right, I get where you're going with this, but this is not the DC universe I want to see. Like, I want to see what James Gunn comes up with, because his Superman movie is going to be titled Superman, but it's also going to have everything that we need. The Lois Lane, the Daily Planet. It's going to have a great Lex Luthor. It's also going to have ties like Green Lanterns and stuff to the broader DC universe. And it's not going to be just another origin story. Like, I hope we don't start with the baby getting put in the egg and getting sent to the planet. Like, and if we do, it better be, you know, it better not be the whole first act of the movie like it has been. Like, we don't see Christopher Reeve as Superman in that first movie until, like, I think the second act, you know, like well into the second part of the movie. You know, like they do the whole origin, the father, the son, send it, then you see him as a kid growing up, then you see him as a high schooler, then you see him as the man. And this is kind of similar, right? They kind of do a little jumping around. They show him as the baby, then they show him as a grown man saving some people, then they cut back even further to when he was a young kid and he saved some school kids, and you have some moments with his dad. Then he has to let his dad die. Like, Kevin Costner just, no, son, don't save me. You're Superman. You could easily save me. I want to die in this tornado. You know, and you have to watch it happen because that's what Zack Snyder is. You're just like, yeah, watch the dad die. Watch it, yeah. You know, like, I don't know. It's ass. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Comment below, what do you think of this Man of Steel movie? Am I dead wrong? Comment below your thoughts. I would love to know if I was missing something. Maybe this is a great movie and I'm just, you know, blinded by whatever I saw. But comment below your thoughts. I would really love to know these things. If you want to DM me on my other social medias, links down in the description below for all my other socials. Please like, comment, subscribe this video. We'll be continuing on my DC movie rewatch with Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, another Zack Snyder. So now we are dipping our toes and getting into Zack Snyder's DC universe. We have caught up all the way, and I just want to get past this DC universe, you know, watch things that I do enjoy, kind of like the Suicide Squad, those two movies. Things that I haven't seen in a long time, like a Birds of Prey, Blue Beetle I watched more recently because that was one of the more recent ones that came out. But, you know, still, like, I want to get back up to, like, you know, Robert Pattinson's Batman and get back to those things, the Joker, you know, things that have come out more recent years that I haven't rewatched in a long time, and things that I wanted to rewatch, and that's why I started this whole DC rewatch. So I'm getting back towards those things that I want to see, but I'm going to have to get through the Snyderverse, which is going to be tough, but hopefully on the other side of it, once I get to the James Gunn verse, I'll be real happy. So stay tuned for more, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.